So you're not too worried that Huckabee believes that mankind originated 3,000 years ago?
I think...
I mean, what is their position on abortion and on stem cell research? I mean, it makes a mockery of all that.
I'd be interested in finding the answers to those questions out. I saw him on This Week Without David Brinkley, and he was excellent. He was convincing. And I saw Ron Paul on The View with my wife, and at the end of it, she basically said, sorry, because his political statement was, I'm going to pass the buck back to the states about abortion. Right?
Right.
So you've got the new Howard Dean and the old Howard Dean on the Republican side, and you can decide which is which. But the people that come across as credible and honest are Huckabee, McCain. I mean, I voted for McCain, or I would have. I even sent a check to McCain in the South Carolina primary against Bush, desperately hoping that would make a difference. Because although I disagree with McCain on many issues, he's an honest guy. Now, that, however, in my political calculation, doesn't have a lot to do with who I think is going to win the nomination. I've shaken both their hands, Giuliani and McCain. I like McCain. I don't like Giuliani. Do I think he's going to win the nomination? Because, are they going to go for the honest guy, either of the two honest guys, or are they going to go for the guy that's going to get the job done?
Okay, well, let's cut the crap. Do you think that any of these guys, I mean, Giuliani or Huckabee or even McCain, is it conceivable that they could win the election? Or is the Republican race really just a circus, a sideshow?
If Hillary is the nominee, they have openings they can drive a truck through. So if Hillary's the nominee against McCain, I don't agree with you. I think that McCain will win in that, because it's honesty versus manipulation and cleverness. Hillary is very smart, but they've run the playbook over and over again. Everything she says is based on stuff that they've worked through, and then the husband.
Well, who are they? I mean, you sound like a conspiracy theorist. Who are they? What are you talking about?
It's the left-wing, media conspiracy.
Well, who are they? You talk about Clinton. They. Who are they?
Bill Clinton.
Who are you talking about?
Bill Clinton.
So he's behind Hillary. They didn't even agree on trade.
I know, and they don't. And he's.
And you're the kind of person who said Hillary was behind Bill.
No, Hillary is selling the idea that she has experience. Experience at what?
I think she has experience in the sense that that being president is an incredibly hard thing to do, and that
we get that.
You can't wait. Let me finish. You can't prepare for it. I rest my case. Well, you can only prepare for it if you've essentially done it, or you've been so intimately involved that you know what it's like. And
that's like saying that Al Gore, because he was the most hands-on vice president in history, which of course was eclipsed by Cheney, but he was the most hands-on vice president, and the United States said, "I'd rather pick this idiot than the most experienced second banana." It's like nominating Oliver Hardy for president. I mean,
but that's another election, and we're not in 2000 now.
Thank God, and that is exactly Obama's strength.
What the strength that he hasn't been president, that he's barely been in Congress.
If you listen to the NPR debate, it was really interesting. You can hear that the people who have been in Congress for a long time, like Dodd and Biden, they're very credible. That's whoever wins, that's their cabinet. Right? Biden's running for Secretary of State.
Right. Okay, I accept that. I was in D.C. yesterday, and I spent some time with a friend of mine who's just written a book about foreign policy and very well connected in D.C. on the Democratic side. And I asked him if he was going to get involved with Hillary. I mean, not, of course, intimately, but on a political sense. And he said that it's hard to break in there because she's still surrounded by Holbrooke and Albright, with a foreign policy team from her husband's administration. So I think I do think she needs to bring in some younger people. And of course, the ideal arrangement would be is if Obama was her vice president, and that would be a perfect ticket, because that would really give the sort of the veneer of youth and of idealism, and win the skeptics like yourself back to her, and at the same time she'd maintain control of the center. And then she could groom him to be president in 4 or 8 years.
4 or 8 years?
Well, however long she lasts.
You mean, yeah, exactly. So in other words, another 8 years of Rovian, catastrophe.
But that is not true. I mean, you're just buying the right-wing spring machine. She's not Rove. There's nothing Rovian about her. Did you hear?
It's a twofer. They say that it's a twofer that you get Bill. You get
but that's not Rove. What does Rove got to do with Bill or Hillary? They're the opposites.
You get Bill and Rove. Everybody.
Rove, what does Rove got to do with it? What does Rove have to do with it?
But we're back at the first time we talked about this, where the idea that these guys. Oh, they're just going to open up a candy store now, and he's just going to coast for the rest of his life. And, there's nothing really going on here. He's getting out of the way of, at least your theory, this collapse of the Republican Party. I mean, don't we remember Watergate? I mean, there was, 30 years of the collapse of the Republican Party? Just seemed to get interrupted by Reagan and then Bush and then, another Republican called Clinton, and then...
there was 4 years of. I think that Obama, if you want to raise historical analogies, that the closest thing to Obama is Jimmy Carter. I think those guys have a lot in commmen. Very well spoken, decent people. Totally ill-prepared to be president. What?
It's admirable that you're going back to the Obama, trashing, given the fact that you started this.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm trashing him. I acknowledge he's a well-meaning person. I acknowledge that he's intelligent. I don't think he would be a disastrous president.
Who's he going to run against?
And if he beats Hillary, I support him. Whoever wins the Democratic primary, I support. Okay, but I think that Hillary Clinton would be a better president. What?
Who? Hillary would? Oh, okay, great. There are a lot. There's a solid 33% who agree with you, and there's a solid 45% who say, I don't care what, she ain't getting in. Okay, who's the Republican guy? You said this correctly at the beginning. It's who's the Republican? Obama against who loses?
I don't think he would lose against anyone. I think whoever the Democrats nominate will win. It doesn't make any difference. So I think that essentially the race between Obama and Hillary is a presidential race. That's why it's so interesting, and that's why it's so important.